Hello, thank you for listening. This is the near-death experience of Alma, and Alma's experience occurred on March 9th of 2012 and was documented on July 30th of 2018. Open quote. I made a pact with God to take me in a major heart attack. I had been suffering physically and emotionally most of my life. The suffering got worse after being struck by a hit-and-run taxi while on my bicycle in September of 2003, which led to severe surgeries and illnesses for about 9 years. I knew I was dying. At the start of the third month of weaning myself off about 15 prescription drugs, I was in strong seizures. I arrived to the hospital on March 6th and had severe seizures after I was taken off of a feeding tube on March 7th. I had my profound NDE at about 2 a.m. on a late night of March 8th and early morning of March 9th of 2012. I recall seizure coming, and I prepared by wrapping my wrists and ankles with sheets so my body would not flail so much and frighten others. It was okay for me to die. I was tired of being so ill, and I knew I was going to die. The seizure began as I finished the last wrapping of my ankles, and I went out. I am in a short void of what appears to be silver gray, very light gray. Then I see that I am standing on a ground that is not earth. I know I have just passed to the other side. I am raptured by the diamond-like ground with what looks to be quartz crystal, white marble, and even something that appears to be see-through glass. On the majority of the ground, there were protruding diamonds that stood tall, smooth, and glistened so much that I did not want to take my eyes away from this ground. Being the very curious person I had always been by nature, I looked up to see what else was there. To my left, I saw a huge crystal blue sky, a beautiful waterfall with some vibrant green grass around its edges. I saw a huge stone gate that led to what I believed was Heaven's Gate. I looked how far this gate extended, and it appeared to morph into forever. I then heard a voice talking to me. It was the sound of a boom of authority and sweet loving kindness at the same time. It said, "You are here because you have come to me often." I immediately knew all the prayers I had ever prayed had paid off. I had prayed constantly as a child, preteen, and teen of severe physical and emotional abuses and at times depression. I was in a garden of heaven that was at the foot of the entry gate. My body was with a high fever this particular day and had been iced in the hospital several times to bring my fever down. In my NDE, I observed the gate to heaven and the narrow golden chiseled path that led to it. I saw the different ground under the path, which was not the large diamond-like ground I was standing in. I was picked up by an angel by the back of my body and taken to the waterfall. I was laid at the foot of the waterfall. The most minuscule touch of my left little finger touched the water that was not really water. It looked like gel with the diamond-like colors emanating from it. I felt my fever immediately leave my body. I was then picked up by this angel and brought back to where I had been standing. I saw my maternal grandmother to my right. She was with 3 other relatives that I recognize. To my left is my paternal grandmother and 3 relatives on my father's side who I recognize. My father seemed to want my attention and moved from the maternal side to the paternal side. Nobody was smiling, and I thought, I am going to have a harsh judgment from God. I can take it. I am here in the garden, and I will take any judgment and accept all my sins as a choice I made when I could have done better. Maybe God will understand what I went through while alive. After greeting my relatives and knowing I had serious work to do with being judged, I stood very straight and tall like a soldier. There was a huge orb of the glistening eye of God that was hovering in front of me. It was so large and filled with the light of diamonds and bright white. I said, I am ready. I know I did bad things. You can judge me now. This huge orb of light, the glistening eye of God, told me to be still. It then told me to turn my head and look to my right. In a millisecond, my head was already looking to the right. I saw several blue, human-like beings with auras of yellow coming out from their heads, shoulders, and bodies. Immediately, I thought that we had all passed away at the same time, and that I was holding up people in the line to be judged. After judgment, I would eventually enter that gate, and I wanted to enter it very much. I turned my head to the glisten of the eye and said, I am holding up the line. The glisten then poured an indescribable amount of its white diamond-like light onto me. The light was all love, only love, and pure love. It repeated, be still, you belong to me. It then told me to turn to my left. I was then immediately looking to my left. I saw the same human-like beings of beautiful blue. They were in rows and rows and hundreds of them. I again said to the glistening eye of God, I am holding up the line. The glistening eye of God said again, be still. I was showered with more light from it, and it was all love, pure, pure love. I could feel my body was erect, tall, and not diseased like on earth. Again, the orb told me to look to my right. Again, I am looking to my right, and I hear from it, look closer. I then saw for the first time that these are humans I may have known, or some I had met. I was then told that I would meet some of these people in the front rows. I saw that they were all made of a sturdy membrane that outlined their entire bodies. The membrane glowed the yellow aura, and the people were all water, like a bathtub filled with pure water. I gave a slight wave of acknowledgement that they were water was registered as I answered in telepathy that I now understood who these water beings were. The orb seemed to be pleased, and then I said again, you can judge me now. Maybe you did not like what I said, that I did bad things. I will change my wording to I did wrong things. This huge, glistening eye of God then showered me with more healing light, said more things to me, and repeated, be still. I was not sure why I am not being judged. I wanted so much to walk through that gate ahead of me. I could hear the activity behind the huge gate to heaven. The glistening eye of God then showered me for a minute or two what was beyond the gate to heaven. They were beautiful souls, all talking about us on earth and how to help us. The first thing I witnessed was an oval table of light. These souls were talking about individuals because I heard comments like, she and he need, we have this in place for her and him. The next table was larger, and those souls talked in a way that I understood that they were helping groups. The third table of light had more souls around it, and they also spoke about groups, and I could sense strongly the seriousness at that table. All I wanted was to be able to start my walk into heaven and do whatever job was waiting for me. I had always said to God, I am so worthless. If you let me in heaven, I will sweep the floors forever and ever. My attention was brought back to where I was still standing on the diamond-like ground. Even with all that I had been shown, I still say to the glistening eye of God, I am taking up time, and some want to talk to you. I had heard some of the blue human beings in the front row tell me that they could not hear what the large orb of light was saying. I looked at my right and left, saw my relatives smiling just a little. I believed that I would now be allowed in. At this moment, I am filled with anticipation that the judgment must be good. When I start walking down that little golden path toward the gate to heaven, I heard by telepathy and eye contact when my relatives were saying to me that I am doing fine. Suddenly, the huge white orb of the glistening eye of God dims, and a huge golden yellow orb comes out from its right. I immediately sense that it is the light of Jesus. I am bathed in this golden yellow light and healed and healed and healed even more. I cannot speak. It tells me, I love you. Its rays touched my body, and I thought I would somehow be transported up those rays. They touched me, and then the golden yellow orb went back into the first huge white orb, the glistening eye of God. A stone ledge then came out of the sky, and a moving art drawing of my life is presented to me. Then another, and another. I was having a life review. The drawings I was moving in them, were showing me that I was kind to people at different ages of my life. The first moving drawing was me, at about 2 years of age, chasing a butterfly that was teasing me to chase it. I was giggling and having fun playing with this butterfly. I had a pinafore edge dress on, and I was in a park, running with delight of being a little girl. I look at my maternal grandmother and paternal grandmother. They are smiling a little more now, and I feel I have been made as ready as possible. I feel both my grandmothers raise their arms to lightly guide me to start walking down the golden path. Everything goes into a void-like second. Though I see silver-gray essence of some sort, I looked up and saw the bright white glistening eye of God once again. I watched it leave like a balloon slowly drifting away into space. It tells me one last thing I hear audibly, like an everyday human talking. Continue to do what you have been doing. I believed it meant that I had been doing a good job of being a passed-over soul. It disappears as I follow all its light. I see it as it leaves completely, and I am staring at the ceiling of my hospital room. I immediately felt two opposite human feelings at the very same time. I was fully aware that they were opposites, something I had not experienced before, or had forgotten if I had. These feelings were that of a complete grief that I had been allowed into the garden of heaven and was in joy. It was a new joy that I had never felt in this lifetime. I knew I had just experienced something phenomenal and extraordinary. The following weeks were filled with my telling everyone I knew what had happened. I have not stopped talking about this NDE. It is my joy. It is my new life. It is my gift and the reason I want to live. Simply to share the story that we are so incredibly made and loved by all there is love, God. End quote. Oh, man. That was pretty amazing. Thank you, Alma. And I I'm glad that I was able to read that story and share that to everybody. It's still being shared. Isn't that great? There are some questions. Question: at the time of your experience, was there an associated life-threatening event? Yes. Accident, illness, drug, or medication overdose. The life-threatening event was that I had no working bowels, bladder, or sphincter muscles for at least 5 to 6 years before my NDE. I had degenerative disc disease, many more severe illnesses lasting up to about 9 years before my NDE. I decided to die in peace without any of the 13 to 15 medications that was weaning myself when I went into seizures during months 2 of a voluntary drug withdrawal to die to meet my judgment with a clear mind. Does not sound fun. Question: did you feel separated from your body? Answer: yes. The souls around the table of light spoke about helping people on earth. I lost awareness of my body. Question: rating your highest level of consciousness. Everything moved slower, and everything had a meaning that was so strong. This is hard to explain. I was being shown and told so much about why I was born at this time on our planet, why I became so very ill due to my own thoughts, what depression had been doing to place me, and in a direction I needed to move away from. Question: comparing your vision. My vision right before the NDE was that of bleak light where sadness dimmed everything. In my NDE, I could see many things all at once and know what they meant. Comparing your hearing. Answer: my hearing was the utmost clear. I heard so many things all at once. Question: did you pass into or through a tunnel? Answer: uncertain. The tunnel was at the end when I saw a silver-like atmosphere before I was dropped off in my hospital bed. Question: did you see an unearthly light? Answer: yes. The light of the glistening eye of God was the most brilliant. There were diamond-like trails coming out of it. Question: what emotions did you feel during the experience? Answer: I was in complete awe and felt a peace like I had never had before. I was loved beyond what any human words can express. Question: did you suddenly seem to understand everything? Answer: I understood everything about myself, what led me to depression, and why I was there in the NDE. I was shown through the glass-like portions of the ground a scene of the planet Earth, and it was like new. It looked like Pangea. Question: did scenes from your past come back to you? Answer: I remember many past events. I was certain I saw myself in the moving picture drawings that were presented to me. It was a life review, though I did not know that at the time. I later saw a picture of myself, of which I have few pictures of myself as a child, and I recognized that I was in the same park I was in during my NDE. I was about age 2 in the photo. I had to ask my mother to find any photo of me for a class project in 2017, by which I see the pinafore dress I was wearing during my NDE. Question: what was your religion prior to your experience? Answer: Christian Catholic. I love my Catholic mysticism upbringing. I was attached to Buddhism. I love Judaism due to my father's Sephardic Basque background. Question: have your religious practices changed since your experience? Answer: yes. I spent 2+ hours in contemplative awe, prayers, and meditation on my NDE, the glistening eye of God, and the yellow golden orb of Jesus every morning. I cannot live a day without this time to simply be with God. Question: what is your religion now? Answer: there are several faiths. I continue to dwell in Christian mysticism and other world religions where the mystical is key. Question: did your experience include features consistent with your earthly beliefs? Answer: both content was both consistent and inconsistent. I saw what I believe was the scientific, like the water appearing like gel. I saw a membrane of the elements of the human body as it encased the water we are, as a human aura of bright yellow. Question. Did you have a change in your values and beliefs because of your experience? Answer. Yes, I value the space between two people so much more in that there is an entire universe of love holding us there/here, and we make a difference in each other's lives. A great difference. Nice. Question. Did you seem to encounter a mystical being, a presence, or hear an unidentifiable voice? Yes, I saw them. Jesus was presented as a golden yellow, huge orb of light that healed me and told me he loved me. I knew it was him by his love, and he let me know it was him. That's nice. I was wondering if she got some healing from this experience. It'd be nice to hear a lot about that. Have feeling better and stuff. Did you gain information about pre-mortal existence? Yes, I felt I had lived before. I was shown this in a special way. During your experience, did you gain information about universal connection or oneness? Answer, yes. The love I felt was for everyone who wanted it, I was told. Question, during your experience, did you gain information about the existence of God? Yes. What can I say? It happened. I saw the glistening eye of God. It healed me and loved me beyond any description. Question, during your experience, did you gain information or special knowledge about your purpose? Answer, yes. I learned why we can be our own enemy when we do not love ourselves as God loves us. Question, during your experience, did you gain information about the meaning of life? Answer, yes. We are here to love unconditionally. Only that. That is all we are here for. Forgiveness of self and self-love was told to me was the key to loving. Very interesting. Question, during your experience, did you gain information about an afterlife? Answer, an afterlife definitely exists. I was shown the souls who help us to live on earth. They were filled with the deepest compassion for all of us. Question, during your experience, did you gain information about life's difficulties, challenges, and hardships? Answer, yes. We have help in heaven. Look to heaven. Pray to divine guiding souls, ancestors, God, and Jesus, Mother Universe. Question, during your experience, did you gain information about love? Answer, yes. It is all and only about love, all caps, love. We come here to love our own self as a part of God. We are here to love everyone since we are all in the same. Question, what life changes occurred in your life after your experience? Answer, large changes. I have slowed down to smell the air, the flowers, watch the birds and hear their songs. I watch people and say, if they only knew there is life and no death, how happy could they be? Like me now. Question, have your relationships changed specifically because of your experience? Answer, yes. I have close relationships to those who believe my NDE was as real as the sun and the rain. Everyone else is part of the job I have chosen to teach. They are love. Question, was the experience difficult to express in words? Answer, yes. It is difficult to explain when the telepathic words are being transmitted versus the actual hearing of the voice of the glistening eye of God. Question, how accurately do you remember the experience in comparison to other life events that happened around the same time? Answer, I remember it more accurately. I can tell you about my NDE anytime or any day at any hour because it is the greatest thing that I have experienced on earth next to giving birth and being in love with my newborn daughter. Question, do you have any psychic, non-ordinary, or other special gifts after your experience that you did not have before? Answer, uncertain. I had 3 early childhood NDEs. I grew up with 2 angels at my side, who I could talk with. I knew people's feelings as I continue to do so now. I got lost after the age of 8 when I was great physically and emotionally abused. In a second series of years, I grew very quiet and observant of body language, and any minute movement of the eyes. I could and do hear between the lines when someone speaks. Before the experience, as an adult, I saw the way my father would die, and it came true. I saw that my daughter would have a grand mal seizure, and it came true. I have visions of the future that pertain to people who are close to me. I have had a vision of my own time of passing over this next and final time. Question, are there one or several parts of the experience that are especially meaningful or significant to you? Answer, they are all meaningful to me. Every single part is meaningful to me. I am blessed beyond belief or measure. Question, have you ever shared this experience with others? Answer, yes. Less than one day, I spoke to the male nurse's aide about my experience, but I was still very weak and did not tell him the entire set of events, just that I had been taught by love the night before. Question, what did you believe about the reality of your experience right after it happened? Answer, experience was definitely real. It was all I could think about, remember, or wanted to talk about. And what about the reality of your experience now? Definitely real. There is no comparison. My NDE is the best thing that ever happened to me, so that I could truly live this life and be of service to God, myself, and others. We are simply walking each other home. Words from a poster I saw at an NDE conference. That's good. A good line there. Question, at any time in your life, has anything ever reproduced any part of the experience? Answer, uncertain. I have had love, capital L, enter my life, and yes, the love, small l, here on earth has a resemblance to the love I had from God/Jesus. Only God's love was to the extraordinary, infinite, pure state that words cannot express, spoken or written. Is there anything else you would like to add about your experience? Answer, I am blessed to have had this profound near-death experience. I am in awe and wonder. My NDE has taken years off my life, which was once just an okay life. Now I have an incredible life. That's great. Question, are there any other questions that we could ask to help you communicate your experience? Answer, yes. Ask what each NDEer wishes for in their life and for the planet. What are they doing to realize those wishes? Are they belong to bring people together in love? As for me, I wish to be love to the most underprivileged children in the USA, those that live on Native American reservations. I am taking classes and have become a brain plasticity international mediator/educator, helping students to gain optimal cognitive potentials no matter what diagnosis they are given: ADD, brain damage, stroke, OCD, mental health issues, fetal alcohol spectrum, autism spectrum, Downs, more, and cognitive delay. End quote. And what an awesome way to end that, Alma, is the changes and the help that you're giving people. And your experience was awesome. I thought that the people at the tables that you saw who were thinking about the people on earth and helping them, and the different tables helping individuals and helping groups, I thought that was pretty awesome, as it was the rest of it as well. Appreciate you sharing. It was a great story, great experience, and I know that other people enjoyed it as well. Thank you out there for listening. Hope you have a great day.